Okay. Hello, everyone. So today we're starting basically a new topic. We are uh, over here, we are starting to talk about Python, right? So we want to take very baby steps at Python, and we want to get into the details of what Python is. It's a programming language we all know. Then get into a level where we know the Python uh, basics of variables and data types. Then we can talk about different data structures on Python, and then the control structure, which is basically looping or conditions, right? So let's take the time to do that. And then on top of that, there would be other things that we can lay the foundation on. But this is going to be a very foundational lecture on Python basics, right? So I just want to do it differently rather than teaching in the blackboard fashion where I'm writing anything. I think it was meant to do in a way that I basically do it in a lab lecture delivery mode where I type out the code and basically you ask me any kind of questions, whether you have, right? Okay. So before we start, what do we know about Python?
Actually, I know that Python is a scripting language rather the programming language. Yeah, this one, my statement is true or wrong?
Yes. So before that, we'll go into that.
Okay.
It's a very good question, but we'll go into that. But before that, let's understand where did Python came from. So
Okay.
Python was created. Let me see. Python was created by a person called Guido van Rossum. This was on the year 1991 that they had the first release of Python. So this Python name, it might seem to you that it is a name of the uh, snake, right? But the inspiration of the Python name was from a BBC comedy show. This comedy show was named as Monty Python's Flying Circus. Monty Python's Flying Circus was the was a very favorite show of uh, Guido van Rossum. So Guido van Rossum named the language from that show. So the purpose of the Python language was basically to bring in simplicity and code readability, which can improve the developer productivity. So simplicity and code readability is two major factors which was taken in for consideration of building this language, right? So this is a brief history of Python. Any questions so far? Did you guys know all these things?
No, it's a new one.
Yep.
Yeah, understood.
Okay. So before studying any language, it is obviously good to know the history. Then you would be able to appreciate where did the language came from, who was the founder, why did the language named such, and who. These are all stories, history of that language, nothing technical about it. And the reason because it will organically grow certain interest within your mind about the language. right?
Mhm.
So now coming to Python's main thing, what Partho you were trying to say. So Python is not a scripting language. I think what you wanted to mean is basically it's an interpreted language. Okay. What is the difference between a compiled language and an interpreted language? Second year computer science question.
Yes. So basically, compiler compiled language is nothing but it compile the code at a time. I mean, whole at a chunk. Whereas interpreter interprets the code line by line.
Very good. Among 5 point, that was 1 point that we used to write. What is another difference?
Execution speed.
No.
I mean, compiled language usually runs little faster, right? Than
No.
the
So compiled language, the main thing that you have to keep in mind is that the kind of compiled language, the code is translated, right, into a machine level code with the help of a compiler before execution. So the in a compiled language, the code gets translated into a machine level code, and then the machine level code is executed in order to get the result, right? Whereas in interpreted language, the code is performed line by line using the interpreter at the runtime. The output is received line by line using the interpreter. So there is no, um, intermediate step of compiled language which would give another file which you need to execute somewhere. Correct?
So not like machine language
Not
converting
like
to.
not like any other kind of a machine binary or any other kind of a thing. So in in Java, uh, when you run the Java compiler, what is the output of that?
um,
It is called a Java bytecode.
Java bytecode is
That is a
compiled.
compiled code. You will not be able to see that code. So basically, the thing is Java, when you say there is a compiler runs, the output is basically it's called uh, Java byte code, or at times it is called intermediate representation, right? Then this is taken and executed in order to get the output.
So this bytecode is nothing but
Machine understandable code.
machine understandable code. Okay. Mhm.
Okay.
The binary format.
It is a binary format. If you open this file, you will only see squares, zeros, or you will not able to see any kind of readable thing.
Mhm. And what about C?
C is also a compiled language, right?
Mm. Yes.
Because C has a mm, conversion step in between, right?
Mhm.
So the output of the C, uh, the compiler, if you remember, we used to write a C file. We will put it to the uh, C preprocessor, right? And when the output of the C comes in, it gives you something called object code.
Object code, yes.
The object code is used to generate an executable, and that executable is run to get the output,
Mhm.
right? So when compilation happen on a C program, there are four steps. One is pre-processing, another is compilation, then I think there was assembly, and then there was linking, right?
Mhm.
So this, if you open a assembly level or a object code level file, you will only see unrecognized characters, or like characters which you are not able to read that much, right?
Mhm.
And then if you take that file and do the linking step, you should be able to get a human readable output. Now, the important part to understand in Java is that particular file is what? System independent. You can run cross
Mhm.
platform or cross system in machines, whichever operating system you have, say Linux, say Windows, you can just go and run this, right? So we have now fairly understood that what what it is on the compiled language. In the other hand, interpreted languages are very easy. It is just when it is executed, it will just, the interpreter is installed in your machine. It will line by line read and it will give you the output. Just, I mean, whatever command you are getting, it will line by line read and it will give it the output. For example, this is a Python file. Now, if I, for example, just type this print hello world, right? This is, and I'm going to just execute here. You will get the output in here, right? Print hello world, you will get the output. As simple as that. So
Mhm.
here in this line, user bin Python 3, the interpreter is called, and the interpreter is directly given this particular parameter where the code file resides. The interpreter goes, opens the code file, and it executes, and it shows the output line by line, right? All
Mhm.
clear up till now?
Yes.
Okay. Let's get into some basics, right? So first of all, let's talk about commenting. In general, commenting happens in Python uh, with a start of hash. If you're a Mac user, your shortcut is command and backslash. If command and backslash is going to comment, and comment and backslash again, if you press, it's going to uncomment. Okay. So in Windows, I think it is shift and backslash, but you need to just see to it, right? So this is simple, but this is line level commenting, right?
Mhm.
There is something called block commenting, and block commenting example is kind of this. Block commenting example is what? If you generate three open inverted commas, you can actually write paragraphs which will help you block comment. Okay. Any questions so far?
Only by three inverted comma it will comment the block, huh?
There are other ways of doing also broad commenting. I think in double inverted commas, it is
But
also.
but but why it is not showing in green?
No, no, no. It will not. It is just a Visual Studio way of showing it. Line level
Mhm.
commenting is showing this way, but this is not a commented line. If I write this, if you see, Python interpreter is trying to kind of parse this, and since this is not a Python program, it is not getting parsed. The moment I comment this out, it is going to be without an error. Now, if I uncomment this line and if I uncomment this, this is everything is going to throw me an error. Now, if I try to put, you know, uh, three inverted commas in between, this is just going to be like this.
Oh, comment. Okay, okay. Got it, got it. Yeah, I have one question in mind. So I have heard from somewhere that few Python libraries have been written in C language, like pandas, and that's why like when we run pandas code, it converted to C code and then it get executed. So that's the reason like Python is called scripting language. Is this true or I mean something wrong?
I'm not sure if I understand the question. See, uh, I mean, tell me what is meant by a scripting language, and tell me technically, by the way. The reason why I'm asking is that, see, there are the way, if your scripting language is the synonym of what am I talking about interpreted language, it has nothing to do with the way that you have explained. It is called in C, and that is not the way that it works. The way that from a fundamental of computer science understanding, we should understand that there are two types of language. One is called uh, compiled language, another is an interpreted language, right? So
Okay.
if you are saying that your scripting language is an interpreted language, then you don't need a C compiler to begin with. Whatever the C compiler would be taking an output, I'm not sure how. I did not understand the question, but I probably think that is not right, because again, I'm not going to challenge that understanding. Probably we can talk offline and clear your understanding on that. But this is not the right way to look at language. There is nothing called scripting language, right?
Okay.
There are only two kinds of language in this world:
As a
right?
compiler.
Compiled language, interpreted language. Simple.
So like this language like JavaScript,
Mhm.
whether it is interpreter or compiler.
Uh, I think I'll have to look it up, but as far as
Okay.
I
Anyway,
remember,
anyway.
I
Okay.
remember it's a compiled language. Or
Oh,
sorry, it's a scripting language.
scripting language.
Yeah.
Yes.
So JavaScript is
It's an interpreted.
it's an interpreter. All that
Yep.
I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
It's JavaScript.
Yes.
Sorry, yeah, JavaScript has its own interpreter, right?
Okay.
Yep.
What whatever. So, but Java does not have it. It has an interpreter plus a compiler. It will take the bytecode, then it will interpret. It cannot take your .java file which you are writing in plain English, and it can directly do the interpretation.
Mm-hmm.
It will take it the interpreter on the machine language code. It only understands that how to execute the machine language, right? Which is an output of a compiler,
Mm-hmm.
right? So in this case, if I go back to your example, if there are some Python libraries that are written in C, that does not mean so that you will need the C compiler to execute.
Mm-hmm. True. True. Okay. Understood.
It
Understood.
is
Yeah.
written in C, but your
Mm-hmm.
executables are still present as a part of the Python package.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Correct. Correct. Yes. Yes.
That does not change anything with the behavior of the language, that whether you are going to call it interpreted or sorry, scripting or not, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let's understand that there are only two kind of
Like
language. One is
compiler
called
and
a
interpreter.
compiler, another is called a this thing. And
Understand.
again, JavaScript, it's a little bit of a catch, because JavaScript is actually, if I remember, it's both a scripting as well as a compiled language, because it has a just-in-time compiler in it, right? But it is mainly interpreted like it's a line-by-line execution. But when you go into some, again, I'm not a JavaScript person. I'll not be able to tell you.
I just
You
skip this topic. Go ahead with the other next one.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll.
But
I'll,
just to complete, if you see the modern JavaScript engine like Google Chrome or so, I think it has a compiler, just-in-time compiler also in there. So, anyways, but I don't think so that it is. You should look any language like that. It's a
Mm.
simple thing, right? Yeah, either it's a compiler or it's
Compiler or interpreted base. Mm.
Okay, let's just go with the basic variable understanding in this thing. So here, as we know, I mean, this is the variable understanding of Python is very easy because it's you do not uh, need any kind of like you know. Sorry, I'm forgetting. Give me 1 minute. So it's a what do you call that? It's a wait, what I'm missing?
Means you mean to say no need to
No, no,
declare
no, no,
any
no, no.
type or
Yeah,
anything.
what do you exactly call that way of language? It is strongly typed language, right? Strongly typed and weakly typed. I guess like it is strongly. Yes, I guess that was it, right? Mm, yeah. So Python is basically a strongly typed language because the interpreter keeps track of all the variables, right? And it enforces Python interpreter enforces the types during the runtime, right?
Mm,
So a weakly typed language like C, you have to declare the variable data type first,
mm,
right? And then you would leave it to the compiler to understand, and then you do it. But Python will intelligently infer. Python is going to intelligently infer the type of that variable, right? So that is what is the strongly typed language. So it Python interpreter will keep track of all the type of variable, and it is going to enforce the types, these types during the runtime. So for example, if I have a name, right? Say I am logging Partho, Partho, and OB. These are the name, right? You see there is no error. Now if I just do print name, right? And if I press enter, it's just going to print this, correct? So during this execution, we did not declare anywhere like this that str name and then we say name equals to this, right? But if you remember in other languages like in C we used to do this, right? So one difference is this, we should not interpret this way, correct? So Python interpreter is very intelligent in order to figure out the type of the variable, and it will enforce the type of the variable during the runtime, okay, which is a very great benefit for Python in order to work. Because see, the first benefit that you get is you are actually reducing the code complexity. You do not have to write the variable type on every line. On a program of 10 lines, if you are using 10 variables, right? Say 11 lines, and if you're using 10 variables, the last line you are just adding all the 10 variables. Basically, in other programming languages, the number of codes will be greater, the number of lines of code is going to be greater than Python, right? But here it is going to be very easy, right? You do not have to say what is int, what is float, what is char. You do not have to do that. You can just do this, and it is going to understand. Is it clear?
yes, yes, clear.
Okay. See, this is very important to understand. This is just one important thing to understand. Just look at this 4 lines of code. I have created two variable with the same value, age and age underscore one. Okay. And I have printed them. Okay. In Python, the way if the variable values are being tracked by the Python interpreter, when the values are same, the internal memory that is reserved or the pointer that is pointing to the value, it would be 1. There will be no two different memories that age and age underscore 1 is declared. These two variables are same pointing to the same memory location, which are having the value as 30. Do you understand this?
Mhm. So there will be only one value
Yes.
in the memory, one
Yes.
position. Okay, and both the variables will point it out
Pointed
that.
to the same. Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is
So
it
first,
just to reduce the memory size
yes,
in.
it is the intelligent way to reduce the memory size.
Okay, okay.
Okay. So since we do not have all these issues, we can keep on doing this kind of stuffs, whatever, 5 foot might be 8 inches, and if we can print the height, I'm just going to get it, right? Now you can ask me that, okay, I understand Partho and Ovi and their age both are 30, they are all 5 foot 8 inches. And then say I'm just saying is underscore student equal to say true. Uh, and then I just say print is underscore student, right? And if I execute everything, I'm just going to get all this, right? So you can tell me, okay, just tell me one thing. Then how do I understand what will be the variable, what will be the types of this particular thing? I'm able to understand that this is a string, this is a number, this is a float, and perhaps this is binary. But if I am not declaring it explicitly, how do I understand that what is the type that we can do? For that, there is a way or a function that Python has named type. Okay. So if you are interested to know the type of a particular variable, what is the data type of a particular variable, you can easily know by, you know, sorry, you can easily know by like this. Yeah, just say page, and you can just do height, and similarly, you can just now, if you just enter, you see, read this. The first variable that you had is of the class type str. The second variable that you have is of int, float, and boolean. Okay, this is cool.
Yes, yes. Very good.
Okay. So if you ever have to understand anything on knowing this, this is important. Now, one fundamental question to clear. If you are looking in the screen carefully, then you will see a keyword called class. If you can have a doubt within yourself that, hey, this is a data type, why is class written? If I'm not going into the details of object oriented programming today, but I think everybody of you have read about object oriented programming in past and you have some exposure to it. So the thing is, in Python, everything is treated as an object. Even the data type is an object. String str is an object, which means that it has a class declared against it. Int is an object which has a class parent class declared against it. Float, similarly, boolean. It is built, even data type, the building block of a programming language itself is an object. So the concept of object oriented in Python is embedded into that deep. Hence, it is known as class. Okay.
Okay. So everything is object here.
Everything is object. You are just, when you are declaring this, when you are declaring a variable, when you are calling a method, you in print, if you see, you can just go to definition, and this is the print class. This is the actual print class that is written within the Python library.
Oh,
Everything, everything that is written, print is this is the definition of print, what print is going to do. So whatever keyword you will use, it is going to be written within the Python library as an object.
So here it is showing class string. So that means it's showing it's an instance of a class like that.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm,
If
got it.
you go to type, type is a class. You're just creating an instance of type and you're calling it there within the method. You are seeing it here. This code is written within the Python interpreter itself. When you install Python, this code is residing as a part of that, and you are seeing this code. So this is the code that all that you are seeing in here. It is the Python interpreter code. Any questions? Are you okay? Is it is it overwhelming?
Yeah, no, looks very interesting.
So I think, I mean, most of the things would be very clear if you are finding interest and if you're clearing the things from basic. If not, you
Yeah,
will
yeah.
always,
You are showing in very basic level, and it's really required
yeah,
to know actually.
yeah. So let's talk about few other thing, data structures. So in Python, there are primary few data structures. I think we know a common data structure called first data structure we are going to call as list. This is the same thing that we basically, we call in other languages as array. Okay. So in list, what happens is simple, right? Again, we just talked about it. Say we have a list called numbers, right? And then list, this is the way that we declare a list, right? 1, 2, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5, right? So, and then you just go and do print of number, right? Numbers. Okay. So if you look at it, this you'll get the this is the thing. You'll get the output like this. So this is nothing but array. Um, Now if you want to really go into the detail of it, right? Uh, the thing is that if you the way that we were doing it earlier, if you look at it, you can see the type and you can just print it here as numbers. And if you execute this, you will get a class as list. Okay. So the list here starts with a third bracket, end with a third bracket, and it is like this. Any question? Okay. Good thing to understand is this, that list can contain heterogeneous data type object, which means it can contain a number, a string, and it can contain a binary like 3.14 value of pi, and it can contain a boolean, which is like true or false. Now, in place of numbers, if I am printing out mixed list, which is this list, and just get rid of these numbers for a while, if you see, this is still a list, but it has heterogeneous type of data type object, or no, not object, but it has heterogeneous data, which is of different order. Do you remember this kind of a behavior in C or in Java? No, right? Because arrays are of unique data type. Over here, it is not, right? You can use list in order to store varied ways, varied types of data that you need. So this gives the benefit of operations in terms of list, right? So it becomes actually a very good, I would say, strong data structure, because you can now play with a lot of features or a lot of things together, which previously you were not able to play with. Okay. I think these are basics. We will go into list operations. So in list it is very easy, right? Let's just talk about the first operation, which is indexing. So indexing is very simple. If I talk about numbers, the index starts with 0, we know that, and it goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So whatever is the length of the list, minus 1 is the last index of it, right? So if you look at it, if I am going to say print, and if I do numbers, this is the list that I have declared in line number 36. And if I just do 0 here, it is just going to return me the first element, which is 1. Okay. Similarly, if I am going to take the last element, which is going to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, I can just print the last element as numbers of 4, right? Okay, let me clear this. So if I execute now, you will just get 1 and 5. 1 being the first element and 5 being the last element. Okay. If I just change the order of this, like if I am going to just operate whether this operate in a heterogeneous list or not, and if I just run this, oh, you will not get it. We'll come to this why you are not getting it. We'll come to this, because if you see here, there are only 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have passed 4 here, right? If you pass here 3, you are going to get 1 and true, which is the first element and the last element, right? Any question regarding indexing and how the indexes are unnumbered?
Looks okay. Similar like array. Yeah.
Similar. This is very much an array. Okay. Now, the advantage of the list is this. If you are into this line, if you want to get the last element of this thing, you always do not know what is the length of this particular array or list, right? What you can do is that you can just do -1 in the index. Remember, within the third bracket, we are passing the value of the index. We are not passing the value we want. So what we can get over here is a similar result. 0 is the first index and -1 is the reversed first index. So if you do minus, it will reverse the list and it will give you the first index, right? So in order to get the last element, you from how do I say, from left to right conversion, it is a positive number, and if you want to do right to left, it is a negative number for indexing. Okay. So if you do say 3 here, you will get 1 and 2, because if -1, -2, -3. So remember, when the list of Python starts, the first element is 0, but the last element is -1. If you now remember this, you will be able to follow. So 0 increments to 1, 2, and 3. But when -1 decreases from the left hand side, it is -1, -2, -3. So always your first element, when it is 0 and -1, is basically what? If you are looking into hello, hello is what? Hello is the first element, 0 and 1 from left to right, correct? From order of left to right, if it is a positive indexing, we are getting what? It is the first element, correct? But in order for negative indexing, we are getting -1, -2, -3. Is this concept clear? This is 0, this is -1. Always remember first element 0, last element -1. Is this concept clear?
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay. Now, if you increment the first element to from left hand side to right hand side, it will be a positive increment. If you are going from right to left opposite traversal, it will be a negative increment. Okay. What else? Okay. One other important thing is now slicing. So slicing means that given a particular list, I am interested to only pick up certain I would say range of numbers. So for example, in my numbers list, I am interested to pick up the numbers which are ranging from, sorry, slicing is like this, arrow notation. Yeah. So I'm interested to pick up the numbers which are ranging from 1 to 3. Let's print this. You will get 2 and 3, right? Why slicing gives 2 and 3? So when the slicing first element is declared, it is said that basically start from the first element, which is 1 here. Okay. Okay. Start from the first element, which is 1. So it is 0, it is 1. Let me write it down for your understanding purpose. Right. So what was it? It was like this, which was, this is 0. Sorry. Give me a minute to modify. This is one. This is 2. This is 3. This is 4. This is the indexing. We are okay with this. So if I pass this, we are getting 2, 3, right? We are interested to slice the list, and we are interested to get any number between these two. Why we are getting 2 and 3? We are getting 2 and 3 because 2 and 3 we are getting because we start the slicing from the first element. So it includes the first position. This is the positional declaration. For example, let's just modify this to the mixed list. I think that way we will have a better clarity. Let me do this. Let me bring this up here, 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 and let me print this below. So it is the 0th element. This is 1th element. This is 2th element. This is 3rd element, and we don't have a 4th element for it, right? Now, if I am doing a mixed list 2 and 3, can you tell me what will be the result?
I mean, you mean mixed list 2 and 3. Only then only I'll get 2. So 3.14.
Why?
You in the last part you mentioned like 1 to 3 means 1 and 2.
So again, you are in the right track, but you are not able to explain this. Let's understand this. Why in this case we have these two elements? See, this is very important to understand. In case of numbers, if I do this, let me print it out. Can you find a similarity of this? I have given you the index, I have given you the data, I'm doing the slicing. What is the similarity? I'm saying that the first number is the positional declaration, which means that it starts from the first position. It will take the first element. But what is the ending position? You are missing that. Ending position is 3 in both the case. So the ending position should have been, in this case, true, and in this case it would have been 4. But the least slicing will always go one before the ending position. It will not include the ending position. It will go one before the ending position. So if I am declaring 3 here, I will only end till 2. Hence, I am getting output of hello and 3.4 because the second element on this list is 3.14 and I'm starting from hello. Similarly, in this list, my slicing thing starts from 1, which is my first position is 2, but it ends at what position? It will end at 2, which is 2 and 3. It will not go to 3. Though I have declared 1 colon 3 means from 1 till 3, it will from 1 till 3, 1 colon 3. In other words, this actually means include position 1 till position till the one index before position 3. So first value of the slicing is inclusive and second value is exclusive. Make this thing very clear in your head. If you have a slicing problem, the first value that you pass within the parameter is an inclusive value, which means that it will include the position that you are passing. But the second value that you are including, the second value you are actually putting, it will exclude that position, which means that it will go one before. It will go exactly one before that position. In this case, if it was 0 and if this was 2, tell me what would have been the result.
1 and hello.
Correct.
Just tell me, just I have a doubt. In case of 0 and 2, can I write 0 and minus 3 for same
We
result?
will go there. We will go there. We will go there. So let's see that. So 0 and minus 3, if you write, what we'll get? What is minus 3? Tell me that.
Minus 3 is hello.
No. Okay, minus 3 is hello, which means 1,
1, yes.
which means you are passing what? 0 and 1.
0 and 1,
It will
yes.
not include 1.
Oh, okay, okay. It will not include 1. Okay, okay. Okay, okay. Then looks okay actually. Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. I'm
being
not
sent.
sure, Abhinandan, if you are understanding this, where this is very critical for you to understand. Is there any question from you, Abhinandan?
No, I think I'm good. So far, I'm good. That's why I've been keeping quiet.
Okay. Okay. So clear about this concept, right? This is very important concept to clear. So I think it's we will quickly touch on two other things today, and then perhaps I'll have to pause for today, and then we'll go into the other sessions tomorrow maybe. So one is that let's just talk about this. So you have a okay, say. um, How do you add element programmatically to your list? So you have a number list, right? So numbers, if you print here, right, you will get what? If you print here, I'm going to take this out. I'm going to print this, and you are obviously going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, if I tell that here I want to add after 5, I want to add say 25, for example, correct? How do you add element 25 after 5 on that array? So there is a different way of doing this, but the way to do it easily is that in list is that like this. You have numbers, then you put a dot. Since number is what? An object instance of a class. The moment you give dot, the methods will populate which is defined within that particular class. And one such method is append. And within append, what you are passing is the number that you want to add. Now, if you print the number, you will see this. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll have to pause the session here. I have a hard stop today, but I'll stop the recording. Give me a minute.